To make the scarf, I decided to purchase Walmart brand's Mainstay. It's 397 yards and it uses a size I hook 5.5 millimeters. It is 100% acrylic and I chose my Clover Amore hook to work on this project today. I also wanted to note that I didn't just use Walmart's Mainstay. I also used one yellow colored red heart yarn. Be very careful about picking your yarns because sometimes the colors aren't really exact, and I know this particular colorway can be a type of greenish tone, but it had enough yardage in it to assist in completing the project, and this one was very bright and vibrant, so it worked really well with the other two colors. So that's the reason why I have Mainstay and then I have that one red heart. So now let's get started. So now we'll get started by making a slip knot, and after tightening the yarn on our hook, we will then proceed to make 22 chain stitches. Now, after making 22 chains, we will yarn over and place a double crochet in the third back bump, or the third stitch if you like, from the hook. Working in the back bumps, it can be a little tight, but we will make that double crochet and then crochet into each back bump stitch or just the regular stitch of the chain until we get to the end of the row. I like to work in the back bumps because it makes the work look a whole lot cleaner. Sometimes when we just work straight into a stitch and not into that back bump, it can make the stitches look quite a bit looser from forcing the hook in. So that's why I always choose to work in the back bump whenever possible. So we are now at the end of the row. I like to check and make sure that my row is straight before I move on to the next one. And it's about to get very simple, you guys. We just make a chain, turn our work, but then I start to weave in the loose tail that I had previously in the row. And I do that, let me zoom in. I do that by carefully placing the yarn from that bottom row from when we first did a slip knot onto my hook and proceeding with the double crochet. You can see it right here. I'm going to pull it down onto my hook, then pick up the yarn and double crochet over it. So that way it leaves me with no tails to weave in, as some people say, or no ends to weave in. Now that doesn't always work in all cases, but in this particular pattern, you can see that it's going to work here, even when we transition into changing colors of yarn, which we will do very soon. But I'm going to continue to work into the end of this row, and then I will show you very soon how you can weave in and hide those tails from the previous row when you switch yarn colors. After a few rows, I do like to check and make sure that my stitches are straight, and they're looking really good. I love this Clover Amore hook, but we will continue. Each color will be there will be 4 rows of each color. It was hard to spit that out. And so I will continue weaving in this tail instead of clipping it off, but I had the option to clip it. But I will continue weaving in this tail as I work, and I will meet you back after I have completed the 4th row of this blue color. So I'll meet you where I'm going to switch to the next color. Okay, so now we are at the very end of the row. I'm going to finish off the blue, and the next color that we'll be adding is yellow. When adding a new color, you want to put it on your hook, Leave as little tail as possible and hold it as though you're going to start just working any crochet into a stitch. Pull it tight, and you're going to secure that new color after you make that first chain. Turn your work. Now, just as you did the other tails, you will clip that former color off, but you can still leave a tail to weave both in, and that's what we'll do. So you pull the yarn over your hook. Let me zoom in because I really don't want you to miss this. So as we did before with those yarn tails, when we work our double crochet, yarn over it, we pull those tails over our hook and continue with the double crochet. And it's so simple. You just pull it over the hook and continue to work into it. As promised, I told you also that I would show you how to add fringe to this project. It is very simple. Okay, so now for the fringe, I do something that's, as I mentioned, very simple. I just take a business card. If not a business card, I'll take a credit card and I'll just start to wrap my yarn around it as thick as I think I want my fringe to be, or as many times as I think I need to get the amount of fringe going across the project that I need. Now, some people use cardboard. Some people, I don't know how long your fringe is going to be. You can even use a small book if you wanted to. It just really depends on how much fringe you want to use. But I use a business card. I wrap it a few times. I cut it in just one spot. And then I'll take 2 strands of the yarn. And then I'll take my crochet hook. And I'll put it through the first stitch. Now I'm going to be working I'm going to work 2 strands of yarn into each stitch, and that's why I like working in the back bump so much, because it makes it so much easier to push your hook through. It makes it so much easier for your work to just look really good on the ends, and it comes out really even on the ends as well. So then once I pull that through, 2 strands on one side of the work, 2 strands on the other, I just make a knot. It's that simple. Make a knot and I smooth it out. So into each strand is what I did into each stitch is what I did to make my Deku inspired scarf. It's just that simple. And then when each stitch had a strand, the 2 strands of yarn in it, I just cut it even. It's just that simple, you guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, and I also hope you enjoy wearing your Deku inspired scarf. I hope I made this seem very easy, because it is really easy once you get the hang of making double crochets and working in the back bump. That's really all you'll need to do, make a chain. So if you are to wear your Deku inspired scarf out or like to share your work, please tag me on Instagram. I would absolutely love to see your work, absolutely love to follow you and see your maker journey. And I want to say thank you for watching this tutorial, and I will see you again in the next episode. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.